Wonderful, beautiful Kalpakama. So we said we will revisit this again a little bit. Nana chidra ghato darasthita mahadeepa prabha bhaswaram jnanam yasya tu chakshuradikarana dvara bahispandate janamiti tameva bhantamanubhatye tat samastam jagat tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So we saw that the body is like a clay pot with many holes. Nana chidra ghata udara sthita udara in the ghata's udara, belly of the ghata. What is placed? Mahadeepam. Mahadeepa Prabha Bhaswaram. Its light is effulgent. So in the way there is a Mahadeepam that is placed in the ghata's udara, in the belly of a ghata, and the ghata has a lot of holes. So visualize that, and then visualize that the body is ghata. The body is like a pot. At the end of the day, it turns back to earth. This body, Sharira. Sharira means that which gets destroyed. That is kshiyate iti sharira. There is another word, but sharira essentially means that which decays, decomposes, gets destroyed.
Shayam.
Shayam. So kshiyate iti sharira, or there is something else that goes there to actually indicate the word sharira. There is a synonym to that. So, or kshayate, right? Kshayate, kshiyate, one of the two.
I don't know, kshayati, I thought, because kshayam usually.
Shayam is to be destroyed, to be disintegrated. So that which can disintegrate with time, that is sharira. Now, so we are saying the pot, visualize the pot, the body as a pot. The way the pot can get destroyed and go back to earth, this body can also go. But what is making this pot appear as though it is alive is this Mahadeepam, which is effulgently shining, Prabha Bhaswaram. And how is it? And what are the holes? The Chakshuhu Adi Karana. Chakshuradi Karana. Chakshuhu Grana. Chakshuhu Grana Rasana Twak Shrotram. So these are the 5 Jnanendriyas. Through the 5 Jnanendriyas, there is there's data coming in, and through the 5 Karmendriyas, there is actions going out. Karmendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, there's action going out, and through the 5 Jnanendriyas, there is input coming in to this body, right? So this ability that this body is alive அப்படிங்கிறது is not because of the sharira, not because of the ghata. It is because of this deepa which is inside the ghata. It is shining through these. So if I'm able to see, if there is light of the eye, the light is because of the light of the self. If there is power to hear, it is the power of the self that is enabling the ability to hear. So like that, each of these sense organs are powered by the bahispandate. So it vibrates, it activates outwardly, because all our sense organs are focused outwards. We can never see our own eye. நம்ம own கண்ணால நம்ம கண்ணை பார்க்க முடியாது, நம்ம காதால காதை கேட்க முடியாது. So you can't use your own faculty to experience you can't experience your own faculty. You can't experience the inside of you with these sense organs. These sense organs are bahihi. They vibrate in the outside world. They activate in the outside world, which means it's this that activates the outside world. It is because of me this world is operating. This consciousness that is me, I am able to experience this world. That is why the world has any meaning to me. Whatever I experience of the world, the prapancha, it's called the prapancha. The reason it's called prapancha is because it is an experience of the five sensory organs, the pancha jnanendriya, which is why it is prapancha, that which is formed by five, the pancha tanmatras. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. From the pancha tanmatras, when you distill it down, it creates these five pancha jnanendriyas. And of course, then the pancha mahabhutas, right? Akash, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. These are the pancha mahabhutas that are created. So the experience of the pancha mahabhutas happen because of the pancha jnanendriyas. So that is why the prapancha, the world of objects, is called pancha, because it's created. If you look at the five tanmatras, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, it is in this way the world is created. From sound comes shabda, comes sparsha, touch. Shabda and sparsha together comes rasa. From shabda sparsha rasa comes shabda sparsha rupa. Then from shabda and sparsha comes rupa. Shabda sparsha rupa comes rasa. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa comes gandha. And shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha is the manifested world. And this is directly mapped to our pancha jnanendriyas. So anything that you experience in this outside world, in the manifest world, is always associated with the jnanendriyas. We should remember that. We don't experience the world beyond the pancha jnanendriyas. We don't. Our experience of the world, the physical world, is always the pancha jnanendriyas. Even if we say there is a thought rising in my mind, the vibration in the brain, the neural activity is a physical activity. Although thoughts are not physical in nature, but the reaction that it creates in your brain, the neural activity is physical in nature. So the physical world, physical matter is composed of the pancha tanmatras, of which our jnanendriyas are also composed of, and which is why our experience of the world is mapped. The pancha jnanendriyas and the prapancha, the pancha mahabhuta, right? Now, because I am able to experience the world exists. Now, we are not talking about the objective world that's existing or not. We are talking about the subjective world. The world that I am experiencing exists because I am experiencing the world. You see the play of words? The world that I am experiencing is existing because I am experiencing it. When my experience stops, that world ceases to exist. Like, for example, we have spoken of this example before also. I think even in the first shloka we have spoken about this, where a man takes his friend to his factory, and the factory is extremely noisy. And then the friend asks, how do people work here? It's so noisy. He walks in, he's not able to even speak. He's not able to hear his friend, the owner of the factory, speak. It's so noisy. So the friend asks the owner, it's insane. How do you get people to work here? He says, don't worry. All those people who are working here are deaf. So he's employed people to work in a factory, which is noisy by nature. So by nature, the factory processes are very noisy. So it's not humanly possible to manage that sound. So he employs deaf people. So what has happened for these deaf people, the world of sound doesn't exist. How much ever sound is there for them, the rest of the four indriyas are functioning. They use those to perform the functions there. So world of sound doesn't exist for them. So likewise, if you keep cutting off, you see at the end of it, your experience of the world, your world doesn't presupposes your panchanyanindriyas functioning. If the panchanyanindriyas are not functioning, bahihi spandate, if that vibration or that movement outwards is not there, from the inside the movement outward is not there, the world does not exist for you. Right? So what it says is janami iti tam eva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat. So this light is the light which is inside me, is lighting up this whole world for me. When I go to sleep and when I wake up, when I go to sleep, I go from vyakta to avyakta. I go from vyakta to avyakta. When I wake up, it's from avyakta to vyakta. Avyakta is unmanifest, vyakta is manifest. So when I go to sleep, I'm going from the manifest to the unmanifest. I go into deep sleep. When I wake up, slowly the world opens up for me. I first wake up, I know that I exist. Only after that, I know everything else exists. So that experience slowly opens up like a flower blossoming. Every night and morning, we have this experience. It is just that we are too preoccupied in our head. We don't pay attention to it. Every night we go into a certain state of blankness, ignorance, complete ignorance. We go into that state of deep sleep. And every morning we wake up and we see the world, we experience the world. Now in that duration, there is nothing. There's blankness, there is ignorance, avidya. So when the consciousness lights up, when your consciousness comes into the waking state, that is when you realize this. Tameva bhantam anubhati etat sarvam samastam jagat. This whole samastam jagat etat, because of this, that is anubhati. Anubhati is to shine in response to. Because this shines, tam bhantam, because that shines inside me, anubhati. Sanskritla anu use panna is to follow. Anuvadati. Appadina na solradhu repeat pannungo. Or translate. Anuvadati. Anu appdin solli. So anu means to follow. So anubhati is it is reflecting the brightness or the light that you experience on the outside is because of this light that is in the inside. The samastam jagat, the whole world. So janami iti, the one who knows this, he is who? He is Dakshinamurti. To that Dakshinamurti, aham vande. Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye namaha. Okay. So
It's quite interesting how Shankaracharya uses Puranam, Spandanam, almost every Shloka.
correct. Because at the end of the day, the spandate essentially is that experience of movement, that experience of only when there is movement, even in Soundarya Lahari, you have that, right? Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalu Spanditum api Atastvam Aradhyam. So Spanditum api. So Spanditum comes there, and here also he uses, right? Yasya iva sphuranam sadatmakam asat kalparthakam bhasate. This one, sphuranam. So everything is movement. If you look at it, even in physics, everything moves. In fact, in Ishavasya Upanishad, this first line comes, right? Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Everything, jagat means that which moves. It constantly is changing. That means jagat. So that which keeps moving is jagat. So jagatyam jagat. In this jagat, whichever is moving, in that Ishavasyam idam sarvam. That Isha is abiding, is residing. That Isha's Vasyam is in this world in which Whatever is moving, it is there. Jagatyam Jagat. So this one way, one interpretation is he is that Isha is present in everything, which means animate and inanimate. Now, is there anything inanimate? Is there anything inanimate? A rock, is it inanimate? For for the sake of use of consciousness, we will say yes, it's not a conscious being. Rock is not a conscious being because it does not reflect consciousness. A plant reflects consciousness to some extent, animals to a little more extent, human beings to a greater extent. So the reflection of consciousness, we are determining that whether it's animate or inanimate, whether it's living or non-living. But if you look at it in terms of spandana, in terms of spurana, in terms of activity, even rock, there is an activity. There is activity. For rock to remain as a rock, if you go to the subatomic level, the electrons will be moving and the subatomic particles will be moving at extremely rapid pace. In fact, the grosser the substance is, there is greater subatomic activity that's happening. Correct? So there is spandanam in everything. Life exists in this world, in this universe, in animate and inanimate. The life principle. It is just that some objects are able to reflect, some are not able to reflect. A rock cannot reflect, but a rock will be able to reflect if you feed it with substantial energy. Like for example, you go to a temple. You have the statue, it's nothing but rock. What is the difference between a rock that's lying on a beach and the rock that is inside the temple? The rock that's in the temple has been consecrated with so much energy that it's able to retain that energy and give that energy out in its presence, in that space. So when you go to the presence of a deity in temple, you feel that energy. What is that energy? There is no God sitting there. Think about it. There is a process called consecration, prana pratishtha. There is something called as prana pratishtha. A prana pratishtha is done on a deity. So like I make a Pullayar, or I make a Krishna, or I make a Devi, I make a lingam. That lingam doesn't mean anything as it's just a rock. But when I do prana pratishtha, I am charging, energizing that element, that material. When I'm energizing that material, then it can retain that energy for a long time. And when anybody comes in the presence can feel that energy. Right? That is why people who have these vigrahams and all that at home, you will know this. You do archana, you do puja, you do abhishekam and all that. What you're doing is you're constantly energizing that entity, that object. And when you energize that, it gives you back. See, what is the advantage of Mahameru? You keep a Mahameru, or you keep a Linga, or you keep a Yantra. What is the advantage of keeping all this in your house? Or you keep the Vigraham of a deity. What is the advantage? The advantage is you energize it so it reverberates. It reverberates at a certain frequency, at a frequency higher than you. You are the one who's energized it. But then the difference between you and that entity is that you have a mind which keeps disturbing you. That doesn't have a mind. So if you keep chanting, like for example, if you have a linga and you keep saying Trayambakam, Trayambakam 1,000 times every day, imagine the charge that stone will carry. You will also carry. The only problem is your mind interferes. So that spandanam is what we are trying to understand, and that spandanam is life. It is life in all forms. So like Kalpakaji pointed out, this is the life energy that's flowing from us. And the one who understands it's me who is the cause of what that is existing outside for myself, the subjective world. One who understands this, that I am the one who's the light of consciousness. Right? Who remembers we will chant this one and we'll close the Dakshinamurti Stotram. Who remembers the Ekashloki? Kim jyotistava bhanumana hanime ratro pradipadikam syadevam ravi deepa darshana vidhau kim jyotirakhya hime चक्षुस्तस्य निमीलनाद समये निमीलनादि समये किम दीर्धियो दर्शने किम तत्राहमतो भवान परमकम ज्योतिष तदस्मि प्रभो. You are that jyoti, you are that light, because of which even the sun and the moon and everything are lighted up. Like we said the other chant, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhati kutoyam agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. Everything here is lighted up because of this light of consciousness that I am. Okay. So with that we'll close this. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.